Anyways, wait, give me one sec. Yeah, so when you're playing against somebody way better than you, knowing like observing how they like that's kind of like I think just run into it and then review later. When you're playing against somebody worse than you, like you can experiment with setups, you can experiment with like traps, stuff like that, like stuff that you need to win neutral to even try, or like stuff like that. And then against people your level, it's kind of like practice like the head-to-head player game, things like that. I feel like there's like something to gain from each one. But if you feel like you're getting the most out of this, it makes the most sense to do. So, okay, let's see. Just make sure that we can hear you in the VOD. Say something real quick. Okay, let me add a source here. One more time.
Hello.
Okay, perfect. So we're good. All right, let's get started then. Oh, let me share my screen.
Yeah,
Oh,
you're
oh
already
wait,
sharing
I
it.
am. I'm a genius. Okay.
He's actually a genius. Yeah, it was bad.
No, he called out the cancel.
Yeah. I think I don't think he called out the what is it? The forward two cancel.
Yeah.
I didn't think he'd do it, but
That tells us he's just very willing to start hitting things when you come in. So.
no, yeah, that's what I was thinking too. I'm like, oh man.
Wow.
That's just unfortunate.
Nice choice. He's hitting a lot of things. Makes sense to pick a semi-evade. Whoa, that was good. I like that. That was sick.
That's optimal damage on wall carry. Oh yeah, so I think this one was.
Oh, that was so good. It sucks we couldn't break the wall, but that's fine. I don't think I would have killed anyways.
I wouldn't, but I would have gotten something out of it.
So this happened twice, I think. When he whiffs the 2 like that, he recovers too fast for you to kind of press something, I think.
Yeah. This is a good flip finish by him. And then, yeah.
Round 4. Fight.
Oh, it's so unfortunate, dude. Like, I keep thinking I have the... Like, I'm able... It'll connect, but it just doesn't.
I mean, it's not a counter hit anyway, right?
No, it's not a counter hit. But...
It's just
I thought...
it's so high risk for that reason, because a whiff is so likely, and if you don't counter hit it, they can duck it anyways.
Yeah.
It's like high reward.
I wish
but...
it was. I wish down back 3-4 or down back 4-3 was hit confirmable on counter hit.
Yeah.
Far. I should have gone mid there.
I mean, it's like you already showed it, so it's pretty high risk to do anything. If anything, you could get him to hesitate by just doing the first 2, but you don't have to do anything. I think reversal catches legend kick.
I think it does.
Reversal's not bad because he can either do the mid or the legend kick, and otherwise he has to wait. So it covers both. He commits to that. It's a 2-4 or 2-3. Wow, he ducked that.
Low ranks, man.
Nice.
I remember if I lose this round. Aww.
Yeah, worth practicing the low parry in Junkyard. Just take away that option.
Yeah.
Curious how you got counter hit here. What did you press? This is -9, so it's like there's really not a lot you can do.
Oh, I think I went for 1+2.
Allah has so many scary fast counter hits down 2-3 magic 4. It's really scary to press into him without a knowing like or like at that frame disadvantage. It's like you're probably gonna die most of the time. Jesus. Yeah, so Law is a character who really, like, his main tool to get in is either something unsafe like that, or back 2. And for your character who is so strong at keeping out, it would be a lot more effective to keep him out with, like, up forward 3, or, that was good luck. Cancel's good. Up forward 3, but, like, you don't have to, like, come in every 2 seconds. Especially because, like, how this game is looking to shape up is like both of you are just trying to do the same thing, which is like my opponent's probably going to press here. Let's see if I can counter hit them or clip them coming in. But it's costing you a lot because a lot of Law's moves are straight up faster or are like less likely to whiff. But if you know he's going to come into you and he has to come in with either a low or that was good. Or he has to come in with like a back 2 and like you up forward 3 on a good timing. You don't take like any damage at all if it clips you, and like the reward is huge. You know?
Is the last hit at Junkyard safe?
Yeah, that's why you have to low parry it because the last hit's safe.
Junkyard is so stupid. I think I was also playing incredibly tilted this match because there was another set that I had earlier in the day, or earlier in the session where I knew what this Fang was doing, it's just I couldn't execute the proper plan.
Yeah. That's a hard part about fighting Laws too, if it's like tilt because he has so much counter hit potential and like turn steal stuff. It's like really frustrating to play against him unless you're really sharp.
I think that time I was trying to get really cheeky with my punish.
What I was gonna say is I think every attempt you have to counter hit him can be thought of in another way. It's like you don't have to get it instantly. If you just get him to whiff, then you can get the punish you want, but more safely, instead of having to interrupt his timing, you know? It's like every launch attempt is like, oh, he's probably gonna do something here, maybe I can catch him. But if you know he's going to do something, you can always just move away, let him whiff it, and then do your thing for free. And then if he didn't do it, then you're not risking anything going for your move versus getting counter hit and getting blown up. It's like the same, it's like similar reward, but lower risk. And since up forward 3 is basically impossible to whiff punish, like that's a really good thing to throw out.
It is?
Yeah. I try to whiff punish it all the time, and I'm looking for it, and I still can't get it.
Can't use that more often then, huh?
It recovers so fast.
How? What's the frame data on that?
Up forward 3?
Yeah.
Like the recovery? I don't know. But it recovers hella
Oh no,
fast.
on block.
Asuka up forward 3. -3.
Damn, that's really good.
Yeah.
-20 on whiff, but that's hard. How quick is Law back too?
16. So you'd be trying to catch him on the timing, like, as he's thinking
Yeah.
about pressing it. See, like, counter hitting like this only works if he comes in and swings, but if he's coming in and swinging anyways, then you can just block it.
That's what I was thinking too mid-match, but it got... I think I just let my emotions get the better of it.
Yeah. It's a hard part.
I'm mad here.
Yeah.
He stole the turn.
Law has some of the...
I can't believe I dropped the combo there.
Law has the best turn steals with down 2-3 and magic 4. So it's really important to be really, like, if you're really loose with your button pressing, he has like the best ways to punish that. Like that. That move is so strong for... Yeah, exactly. It's why against especially a player who's pressing this much, taking the time, like if you expect him to do something, doing nothing will make him more afraid to do something like that. And then yeah, if you go for like a delay timing counter hit or something, that's strong because it's like catching him in the lull where he thinks it's safe to press. But if you have like a read on him pressing, it's so much stronger to use movement or use something quick to stuff it than going for a high risk option. Because the reward isn't that different. Full crouch down for 2.
I should just been inbound.
So yeah, full crouch down for 2 is only 0 to 1 on hit. So against Law especially, that's like going to be pretty scary to keep going. It's not even a turn steal at that point.
Down 2 is a 10 frame, right?
Full, yeah. Down 2 is 10 frame. So the only way you'd beat him is if you down jabbed yourself. Even if you while standing 4, he'd win. Doing multiple of those kind of greedy. If he goes back turn... Wait, did he hit you? Oh, shit.
He did.
Okay, yeah. If you ever block that, down jab... Like, practice just down jabbing. It beats everything. Claws back 4.
That's so dumb.
Yeah. At that HP, though, is there anything faster you can do? Put
Probably
down...
just a generic down 4, but I wanted to kill. And I knew I had the health that I could eat a combo.
Yeah. I mean, you just like down back 3+4. Like something... I think in that situation, it misses more often. So like, yeah, so many times he'll like do this as like keep out 3+4. A dash block that fakes that gets you a punish.
Is 3+4 safe on block?
No, -14. Both the high and the... It's stupid because it has the extension, but they're both -14.
I got into the habit of always ducking after that because it's his only extension.
Of back 2?
No, 3+4.
Yeah, ducking's fine. It's just, I'm talking about like before it even hits. Because he would throw it out to catch like you running in. But if you dash block in, then like he'll just hit your block and you'll get a punish.
Dash block is a myth online, man. I don't know what to say.
Running in and dying is a...
Running in and dying is the only truth of in online. Running in and dying is just the ultimate truth.
I see. Every time. Hey, you don't have
Like
to.
I'm thinking that he should respect it, or like
Why would he
I'm a,
respect it if he's hit it with you every time?
yeah.
For like the first 12 minutes, he's gotten it to work. There's no way he's gonna stop. Also, that move sucks. Do down back 3+4.
Down back 3+4.
Or whichever it might be down back 3.
Down back 3.
Yeah, it's minus 12, 16 damage. Whereas down back 4 is 14 damage. So you literally are doing less damage for a slower move. It doesn't make sense.
Man, I could have killed him there, but we can't counter hit. Confirm.
It's a
down
bad
back.
move anyways. I wouldn't use it. Just use down back 3.
It's a bad move, but it's good if you're, because it ducks under some mids. That's why I like using it.
But what mid are you trying to evade?
Normally, like, I think for the most part, I don't even think I was doing it because of his mids. I was just think I was doing it because of, like,
The counter hit, yeah?
the fact that, yeah, just, like, a lot of his jabs were getting through. Or, like, he kept hitting me with a bunch of highs.
The thought process makes sense, but I guess, again, if he's going in high, you have access to things like duck that are less, like, that's a non-button answer. Right? Like, if he's doing 1-2, you can launch that. Or, like, back 3, you know? I know he has a punish for that, but, like, down back 4 is just really, really bad. Because, like, a better player will, like, be able to low parry that so reliably. And then even if you do hit it, the reward is so tiny. Versus, like, if you get the fear of back 3 in his head, he's more likely to hesitate. Like, he's not afraid if he's getting hit by down back 4, right? Yeah, you can't press
I feel
it.
like I'm trying to not eat back 3 and carry a lot in these matches.
So that's a good thing, but your answers are still buttons, you know? So, like, if you're going to answer with a button, use the good ones. Like, it's good to not to try and, like, expand your move selection, right? I think that's not a bad thing. But if you're going to do it all the way, right? Like, substituting it with... okay, so, like, it's a good idea to try something else. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. I think it's more effective in this case, like, with Asuka especially. If you're going to be a button presser, use her good button. If you're going to train using, like, non-button answers, then, like, use your movement. Use things like that. And, like, coming in the middle of his string is just a good way to die. Happened with 1-2-3, happened with Junkyard, happened with 3-4 DSS. It's like, it's okay to let his offense fizzle out. You don't have to interrupt it every time. Because then if he knows you're going to try to interrupt it, he'll just keep putting out stuff.
I think a lot of that was, like, me playing on tilt because I wanted to punish with Demon Slayer. But it just wasn't working.
What's Demon Slayer? What's that move?
Forward 2.
Oh.
I think that's what the move's called.
I have no idea.
He's hella plus.
But if you want to punish with forward 2, that's a whiff punish, not a go in and get, like, in the middle of a string.
Be surprised.
No, I mean, in terms of effective usage. It's more effective using it for its, like, range than trying to evade something with it because it's so slow. Like, if you want
It's crazy because,
if you want to interrupt, your best things are, like, back 3, magic 4, parry, can. But if you want to whiff punish, like, forward 2 is really strong for that.
I feel like a lot of, like, my, like, I don't know, maybe I just wasn't playing, like, in a good mental when I played these matches yesterday, because it's like, looking back at it, I was really frustrated the entire set. Like, I wasn't playing clean.
That's a good thing to be aware of too, is like being cognizant of, like, if you're playing on tilt, like, what kind of things can you do to still, like, play or, like, improve if you want to without being counterproductive, right? Because, like, if you're just throwing your head at the wall, it's gonna be like whatever. But, like, you can always hop into player match. You can do so many other things too. And, like, I also, like, get, like, the want to like continue ranking. But like if you're able to look back on it now and see that, it's worth trying to cultivate the skill by looking in the moment and seeing like, am I tilted? Like that was so good. Like you could have done that the whole set. This entire interaction was like perfect. Like yes, he didn't duck the mid high, but like you had a gut instinct that you would do this, it would cause him to whiff, and your forward two was locked and loaded. That situation can show up so often here. Like even there, like if you read that he was gonna back two, that's an opportunity. Like just for down forward two, it doesn't have to be forward two. Like that thing you did could be recreated so many times. You don't have to come in and hit this button, right? But if you come in like this and instead of hitting 3, you press back and he does 3 plus 4, then you get a 2-3. And then he gets pissed and then he stops doing it. Then you can run in and start mixing him. But if somebody's keeping you out like that and you keep coming in with buttons and getting hit, they're not going to stop. And then he did what you did to him, right? So he just stood still, backdash, you did a button, and then he punished. But like you could easily be doing the same thing. Homing move was good there. You can't really like run away from that. Yeah, that move is trash.
Move is trash. Watch me get the counter hit version on you like player 7.
when anything works, it looks good.
No, yeah, right.
Like that move technically sucks, but it's good because if it works, like it's disgusting. But anybody who plays against Law enough will know like he's probably gonna throw that out, so just be willing to be frame tight and not overextend.
Move.
And like if you are gonna go in with forward 3 and stuff, placing it at a zone where he will either get counter hit or whiff is gonna be better. But like you're putting it in a place where the 3 plus 4 will make contact with you before the hitbox comes out. So like if you're gonna place it, you can adjust your spacing. But my recommendation is just recognizing he's swinging in the first place, and then just answering with a non-committal option like movement. Or a less committal.
I think this is the same themes from the last time we did this. Cause like I think the last time like it was like you opened my mind to like the options,
Right.
just having something, and then like I feel like this time it's more of the same, but it's more or less just like trying to figure out where are good places to kind of like utilize movement as opposed to like wanting to press buttons.
So a big way to arrive at a conclusion like that is you can just open with like, what am I getting hit by, right? So like aside from these, which are counter hit, like swinging on your timings, a big one that was hitting every time was just 3 plus 4 when you run up. And that's a good cue. Like, okay, if I'm running up and getting hit, he's hitting me because he's expecting me to come in. So how do I beat that? If I stop and he still presses, then I have a whiff punish. So that answers one of them. The other way you were getting hit was pressing buttons on a lot of wake-up situations. That can be done by just blocking. And then a lot of the, like that, recognizing that you're getting clipped, doing, like, trying to have the awareness, like, what am I doing that's causing this issue? Because by now, you, like, more or less know what your character can do, you know? So it's going to be, ironically, a lot of, like, stripping down. Like, you have your setups, you have your moves, but what will get you to advance is seeing like what can be done to mitigate when you get hit, and then leveraging that in the neutral. And then a good time to go ham is situations like this, like wake up 50-50s. This is when you can kind of, I would still want to see you hit confirm that, but like wake up 50-50s is when you can start using your setups and things like that. But using setups in neutral creates a lot of predictability. And like I still do really predictable neutral setups and stuff. That's how B-Bias beat me yesterday. Like I was just doing the same approaches, the same everything. But the more ambiguous you are and like when you're gonna come in, if your opponent never knows where you're gonna be, like what you're gonna press. That's not a punish, that's whack. Yeah, that was good. Awkward combo, but it's hard. Challenging after that's kind of scary. I mean, you should be able to block before he does armor or anything. But even if he goes DSS, it's generally scary to challenge. And that was like killing you a bunch. And then yeah, a lot of these situations, like I wouldn't hit a button here. Like I wouldn't hit a button after that just because down 2-3 is always a threat. It's especially against Law, it's okay to back off and then have him try to get in on you again. Because if he's not in jab range, he has to back 2 or run in and try to poke you. And if he goes low and runs in on you, that gives you an up forward 3 window. Or if he does legend kick and stuff, that lets you duck it, you know?
What's legend kick?
Because aside from that, yeah, Law has to come in with movement. If he chooses to come in with buttons, they're all vulnerable. Back 2
Wait,
being less.
What's legend kick? Is that the flying
it's
drag kick?
yeah, DSS forward 4. It's the big like lunging kick that hits like that.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a high. So if he's trying to approach and he's not sliding or not using that, or he's using that or like instead of sliding, you can always just duck it. And that's not a real approach because it's not safe either.
Which one?
3+4, the double kick. This one. It's -14, depending on which extension. Or
Whether
both.
he does the extension or whether he doesn't do it.
They're both going to be -14. It's just whether you punish right away or not.
I think that tilted me a lot there.
Yeah. But basically, yeah, setup-based offense is easy to fall into on like tilt or fatigue or things like that. And that's so strong. That move is so good. Yeah, setup-based offense is really easy to fall into, but that's a big thing to answer right away. That was a really good response. That's a big thing to get into that will just prevent a lot more like losing to yourself. It's like it's one catching yourself in the moment being like, okay, I keep getting hit and it looks really similar, you know? But like I said, it's hard. Like people still do it like at every level, you know? It just looks differently. Like it might not be a setup with like a string. It might be a setup with like, you know, a sequence of movements into a button or something, you know, like timing.
I have a hard time recognizing like movement patterns in this game where it's like
I'm not gonna lie, me too. Like I wouldn't sweat it too much in a game. In a game, it's not like you're gonna literally count backdashes. It's gonna be like a sense of feeling. But it's something to open your eyes, open your mind to. Like you'll be surprised how much an opponent becomes really obvious if you just stand still. Or like just run up and block. You'll be able to see what they're doing a lot more obviously. It's something about slowing down our hands is strangely eye-opening, right? Like the mental load on operating our hands and operating our game plan can be really distracting. It's why watching back a set is so, oh shit, that's so obvious, right? Because you're not doing things with your hands. You're not trying to execute something. You're not trying to make something happen. If you can leverage that ability to like just look while you're playing, or at least try and get to that point, coming up with answers is a lot more straightforward, you know?
is that why like in some matches you'll just see people where it's like the middle of the round and they're just doing nothing.
Joe Crush loves doing that, yeah. He'll walk up and just stand still. I'm like, what is he doing? And like I think he uses it multiple ways as like a timing catch, but also like as an observation tool. But Tekken is, so many things are happening so fast in Tekken that it is surprising how you can do something like that and see just what they do. Like from rewatching this VOD, you can see like if you're in a spacing like more than 2 steps away and run up, he's going for a 3+4 to keep out. Or like every wake up situation, he's going for a dragon hammer to catch you pressing. It's like a very preset answers, you know? And like if you can find that and abuse that, that gives you a huge edge. And like he's always pressing after you hit this, after you hit full crouch down forward 2. If you wait one more turn and block, you get a down forward 2.
That should have been a down forward too.
So yeah, I'd say a big thing is like playing on tilt is real. Like that, like it's still an issue for a lot. Like I don't think it ever goes away. but understanding more of like we're rewatching this back, we've like identified more options with like just moving, or like I'm getting hit in this situation over and over again. How do I avoid that, right? Or like what is the answer to that? And like it's gonna be hard to track all of it and like find everything to do. So I think a good one is like a good exercise you could do is like, you know, keep playing your game and then win or lose between either a round or between a game, like try and just list things that are hitting you. I wouldn't even worry about coming up with answers yet. Just try and see if you can identify, like verbally, between games, what's hitting you. Like, what moves is he hitting me with?
I do that all the time.
That's good, because I don't. But that's a good thing to... If you're able to do that consistently, then I'd say the next step is come up with an answer for, like, one or two. And like, it's gonna feel, like, awkward, like you're gonna tunnel in on it and probably, like, make a bunch of punishes that won't happen, or, like, they'll never do the move and it'll be frustrating. But getting to that point where that process of thought becomes a bit more natural, I think is good for resisting the pull of tilt and acting on the same thing over and over again.
Would you say that this works with people that like to approach with lows? Or that, like, they're at a range where it's like their lows are more likely to hit you than your keep out moves? Does that make sense?
If someone's always approaching with a low, that gives Asuka specifically access to up forward 3, but...
Nah, but they mixed it up with a low and a mid. Like, there's another set that... It was the set that actually put me on tilt earlier. It was a set against Fang, and the guy would mix up his low and his, like, mid timing. So, like...
Is it the timing or the move? Which was he mixing?
Oh, he was mixing up the move. I
Because
felt like the timing was the same.
Yeah.
But
so for keep out, your goal isn't to evade the move. Your goal is to catch the timing. So it's like when you ran in here and lauded 3+4, that was a keep out 3+4. His goal wasn't to... His goal was, I don't want to guess what you're going to do next. I'm just going to hit you. That's what keep out is for. It's you don't want to take the mix up, the mid-low, so you throw out a hitbox to catch them being sloppy with their approach. That's what up forward 3 is for. It's not for catching somebody doing the move, because by the time they do the move, they won't get counter hit anymore. You want to do it while they're about to start up the move so that you get the counter hit launch. A great example would be like, yeah, if like my set from last night would be biased. I put it on YouTube, on the VODs channel. If you watch how he hits me after he goes down 2 games is when he starts doing it. He starts catching me like jabbing. And that's like a pure timing thing. It has nothing to do with like evasion or anything. He's just reading the jab timing and then having up forward 3 make contact with me as I'm starting the jab. And that's like prime keep out. So good. And then if he messes up, he barely takes any punishment because it's so hard to whiff punish. So it's like you almost get like, it's like a free counter hit attempt. Borderline electric. Well, yeah, I would say in situations like this where you're getting counter hit a lot, the first thing recognizing being like, if you're getting counter hit, that means you were hitting a button. See what they do if you stop. And then, because yeah, like it's really powerful just taking away the way they're killing you and seeing how they respond. So like most people will start mixing you up and stuff, but this guy's mixes weren't too scary. Like there's a few low pokes, but all of his big conversions are off counter hits, right? Like down 2-3, 3+4. But he pokes low like maybe twice. He doesn't go for any slides. He doesn't go for any like full crouch mixes. All the big damage is just coming from counter hitting you, you know? If you remove that, it's so much harder for him to kill you. But yeah, at this point, I don't think it's anything tactical so much as like, you know, more of a presence of mind in a tilted game set, you know?
Right. For sure. Oh my god, dude.
But I feel you. I was so tilted. Like yesterday and Wednesday, I was so tilted. my god. So today I will be peace. I will be composed. Is the plan.
That's the line, you know it.
Every change starts with a little lie you tell yourself over and over, and then it becomes true.
Fake it till you make it, right?
Exactly. Do you have any questions about this set that I haven't talked about?
Nah, not necessarily.
Another thing, yeah.
I feel like a lot of.
Oh, so go ahead.
Go for it.
Go ahead.
Go for it.
No, you.
Not you.
I know what I'm gonna say, but you might forget.
What was I? You go first because I forgot what I was going to say.
I'm a genius.
Already.
I knew it. Anyways, so basically, all I would ask you to work on, I think, from this set is just like a lab a bit of like, doesn't even have to be long, just like 5 minutes, like low pairing junkyard, the 3+4 punish.
Does he have another extension after? Because I know he gets back 2-2, right?
Yeah, but because it's a high, it doesn't matter.
Oh, so you always want a low parry.
Yeah. It's like the flash low parry is always gonna work. You just show the flash low parry, and like the thing is, the relative to his extensions, the junkyard is the slowest. So if you train it enough, you will be able to answer with like low parry on like muscle memory reaction. And then so there's that, and then there's practice launching down 2-3 on a random timing. So yeah, down 2-3, the low parry on junkyard, and the punish on 3+4. Asuka should get up forward 2 or something, but I would go for 2-3 just because if he doesn't go for the extension, you have to punish really fast. So record him doing the extension and not doing the extension on 3+4, and then practice punishing both, ducking the third, etc. But it's a stupid string. It's got that auto mix-up built in. And
you
then
can't interrupt it, right?
No.
If he
extends, you can't interrupt it. But yeah, those are the three things I'd say: junkyard, 3+4, and then
Would it be possible to just do like if he doesn't do anything while standing 4?
Like you duck, he does nothing, and then you try and still get a punish in.
Yeah.
Yeah, experiment with that. It's possible. It's just really tight. Like that's what you want. Like if you decide to commit to the duck and he doesn't do anything, and you try to at least get a while standing 4, yeah, that's fine. Let's see. Yeah, it was junkyard. 3+4. What was the third thing? We just talked about it.
Junkyard 3+4.
Oh, down 2-3. Down 2-3 launch with down 4-2.
Down 2-3, yeah.
Those are like the practical things, and then yeah, in terms of tilt management, even if it's like sitting outside of the queue for just like 2 minutes, that's something that can work well. Just anything to reset to where you're in a productive state of mind. It's pretty rare that you can just like play through tilt and like learn to manage it that way, in my opinion.
No, I agree. I don't know why I kept continuing.
I mean, it's a gamer curse, right?
It do be like that sometimes.
It do. But yeah, anything else with this one? Or in general?
I guess like this is probably like a video idea that you could make, but like what can you do when you're like minus something? Right?
It depends. Minus what?
Like you're safe, but you're -9. You're safe, but you're -4 to 6. You're safe, but you're minus like sub 3.
So -9, I made a video on. Minus sub 3.
Yeah, -9 you made a video on.
Yeah, sub 3 you can move. Generally, that's why they made a bunch of Lily stuff -3, so she can still sidestep or try to. -4 to 7 is where it gets a little sticky. Like if you're -4 from a stature kick, it's pretty hard to move out of the next move. And then hatchet kick being like +5 is really silly for that reason. Heihachi's new low is like +8, yeah, on hit. So a lot of those is Once you're in like the 4 to 8 range, it's pretty like hard to move. You kind of just have to block. But it also depends what your opponent does. Like Noctis can go plus 11 on running 1+2, and then if he goes for like a down back 1+2, you can still sidestep it. So it's like it's a mix of observation and knowing like on paper what can you do, and then observing what your opponent is showing that they're doing, and then answering that. Yeah, that's what I would say. General guideline. Especially because if we're trying to move away from buttons, I think that's a fair question. Like knowing like, okay, I'm at -3. Let's try to move. Let's try to just backdash.
Oh yeah. And I think like that's a big thing with me because like I feel like my backdash isn't good enough yet, or like I haven't worked on it enough to the point where it's like uh where I'm confident in using it in a match. So it's like what else, when should I be looking to do like certain moves, or like how do I play when I'm negative essentially, right? Or like when I have to take a mix up or something like that.
If you have to take a mix up, you just have to take a mix.
I
Sometimes
know, yeah.
there's not like a crazy
Sometimes
answer.
you just can't escape it.
Yeah.
It's gonna happen.
Especially in this game, it happens a lot.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, if you're like -3 or something, you can experiment with sidestepping, experiment with backdashing. Against this law, he didn't really give a lot of windows for that because you would put yourself at minus and then he'd either jab or down 2-3. So sometimes the answer is just block one more turn and then he'll give you something.
Oh, and this was just a question going back to when we were playing Melee. This doesn't have to be in the video, but this is not really Tekken related. What makes you say that I should be playing like a different character? Like,
Oh, that was just kind of like off the cuff. Like it seemed like the pace of your play and your desire to go in and create pressure and create openings is just suited to like either a heavy poking character or a like a plus frame mix up character, both of which Asuka isn't. So that's why.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
No, yeah. Like
Because like Falcon pressures you by like moving in at a high speed to generate an answer out of you, or like what, stomping your shield or kneeing your shield and then having frames to do things, or
if you can execute them.
right, or like outplaying
we're
you.
assuming we're assuming we have perfect tech skill, right?
Right.
And that's the thing. I don't have perfect tech skill.
I mean, but your execution on Falcon is good enough that you could translate that to this game fine. It's like you're not doing anything too crazy.
No, yeah.
So like yeah, like the reason I brought that up was more off the cuff, but it's kind of like yeah, like if your flavor of getting in is pressuring with your movement, creating like a mix up, getting your opponent to freak out either by rolling or hitting a button and then punishing that, you can do that in this game too.
I feel like for me the type of character that I play, or the type of Falcon that I typically play as, is that I usually try to play a little bit more defensive and try to, like, if I know, like, if in Melee, right, like if I'm most of the time, like when you're playing against Spaceys, most of the time they're going to be the ones running at you with Nair, right?
Right.
So usually I'm going to be the one where it's like, okay, he's going to run at me with Nair. I think one of the, like, a really good response is jump in place or short hop in place, drift back, Nair.
That is a
'Cause
really good answer. Yeah.
yeah, it's a really good option, and it sucks because I can never pull it off.
So to
'Cause I'll be
play
dash
along that
dancing, yeah.
analogy, the way you play Asuka right now is like you were reading that box coming in, and you're always choosing like forward B to try and backsway him and catch him. But you just identified a less committal movement-based option that doesn't expose you to punishment. That's like the equivalent of like just backdashing or sidestepping or blocking.
Okay.
So
For sure.
I am a believer that you can implement it. It's just like delinking that
point.
like hand muscle memory of like, oh, the button will work here. It's like, yes, the button might work, but there are statistically better options,
There's
right?
better options, yeah. It goes back to what we talked about, like, just gotta
hold out on the dopamine, right?
Yeah,
That's
no, it's
why
tough. It's
I'll
tough.
never forgive the Japanese.
But yeah, hope that helped. Hope you get the little
Yeah,
power
yeah.
up.
I mean, I don't have plans to play tonight, so maybe tomorrow.
Okay, you can soak it up a bit. All right. All
It'll
right,
give me
sounds
time
good.
to stroke.
Yeah, yeah. All right, sounds good. As always, if you need to ask me questions on Discord or whatever, should be good.
Yeah, I got it. You gonna go stream?
Yes.
Alright, I'll see you there.
Yep. Catch you later, man.
Peace.
Peace.